Hare
ॐ
Krishna Prabhu.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथां मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलान् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता विशाखान्वितं च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे वञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So we are in the fourth canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, chapter 13. We are reading the second half. So who would like to read from verse
Where
number 20?
Prabhuji?
I think in the recent time, if you have not read, you can. Otherwise, if someone is new who has joined, can read. Anyone watching for? I think last time it was Sarika Mataji who read. I think she could finish off the chapter then, if you can read through. Otherwise, then there is Partha or Satish, one of them. Yeah, and I think there's a new person joined, Divya, also. Yeah. So what we do here is that every Saturday morning, 7:30, we gather, and then we read through this translations from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and then we'll spend a little time to discuss the purports. So yeah, Sarika Mataji or Divya Mataji, would you like to read what you see on the screen?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, would you like to read?
Yeah, I will read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then read from verse 26 or even 25 and then till the end.
Prabhuji from text 25, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya Namah.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Read.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitreya replied, "My dear Vidur, once the great king Anga arranged to perform the great sacrifice known as Ashwamedha. All the expert Brahmana present knew how to invite the demigods, but in spite of their effort, no demigod participated or appeared in that sacrifice. The priests engaged in the sacrifice then informed King Anga, O king, we are properly offering the clarified butter in the sacrifice. But despite all our efforts, the demigod do not accept it. O king, we know that the paraphernalia to perform the sacrifice is well collected by you with great faith and care and is not polluted. Our chanting of Vedic hymns is also not deficient in any way, for all brahmanas and priests present here are expert and are executing the performance properly. Dear King, we do not find any reason that demigods should feel insulted or neglected in any way. But still, the demigods who are witnessed for the sacrifice do not accept their share. We do not know why this is so. Maitreya explained that King Anga, after hearing the statement of Christ, was greatly aggrieved. At that time, he took permission from the priest to break his silence and inquired from all the priests who were present in the sacrifice arena. King King Anga addressed the priest, priestly order. My dear priest, kindly tell me what offense I have committed. Although invited, the demigods are neither taking part in the sacrifice nor accepting their shares. Next, I think. Yeah. The head priest said, O king, in this life we do not find any sinful activity even within your mind, so you are not in the last offensive. But we can see that in your previous life you performed sinful activity, due to which, in spite of your having all qualification, you have no son. O king, we wish all good fortune for you. You have no son, but if you pray at once to the Supreme Lord and ask for a son, and if you execute the sacrifice for that purpose, the enjoyer of sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will fulfill your desire. When Hari, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices, is invited to fulfill your desire for a son, all the demigods will come with him and take their share in the sacrifice. The performance of sacrifices under karma kand activities achieves the fulfillment of the desire for which he worships the Lord. Thus, for the sake of a son for King Anga, they decided to offer oblations to Lord Krishna, who is situated in the heart of all living entities. As soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in milk. The king was very liberal, and after taking permission from Price, he took the preparation in his joint palms, and after smelling it, he offered a portion to his wife. Although the queen had no son, after eating that food, which had the power to produce a male child, she became pregnant by her husband, and in due course of time, she gave birth to a son. That boy was born partially in the dynasty of irreligion. His grandfather was death personified, and the boy grew up as his follower. He became a greatly irreligious person. After fixing his bow and arrow, the cruel boy used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill innocent deer, and as soon as he came, all the people would cry, Here comes cruel Veena! Here comes cruel Veena! The boy was so cruel that while playing with young boys of his age, he would kill them very mercilessly, as if they were animals meant for slaughter. After seeing the cruel and merciless behavior of his son, Vena King uh, Anga punished him in different ways to reform him, but was unable to bring him to the path of gentleness. He thus became greatly aggrieved. The king thought to himself, persons who have no son are certainly fortunate. They must have worshipped the Lord in their previous lives so that they would not have to suffer the unbearable unhappiness caused by a bad son. A sinful son causes a person's reputation to vanish. His irreligious activity at home cause irreligion and quarrel among everyone, and this create only endless anxiety. Who, if he is considerate and intelligent and would desire such a worthless son? Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the living entity, and he makes one's home miserable. Then the king thought a bad son is better than a good son because a good son creates an attachment for home, whereas a bad son doesn't. Bad son create a hellish home from which an intelligent man naturally becomes very easily detached. Thinking like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. Once, therefore, in the dead of the night, he got up from bed and left Vena's mother, his wife, who was sleeping deeply. He gave up all attraction for his greatly opulent kingdom, and unseen by anyone, he very silently gave up his home and opulence and proceeded toward the forest. When it was understood that King had indifferently left home, all the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, and people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as less experienced mystic searches out the super soul within himself. When the citizen could not find any trace of the king after searching for him everywhere, they were very disappointed and they returned to the city where all the great sages of the country assembled because of the king's absence. With tears in their eyes, the citizen offered respectful obeisance and informed the sages in full detail that they were unable to find the king anywhere. Yeah, Hare
Thank you
Krishna
very
Prabhuji.
much. Sarika Mataji, thank you so much for reading.
Yeah.
Okay. ज्ञानतिभ्रान्तस्य जनञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. So Sarika Mataji, once again, thank you for reading. So I think we are reading a very important chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, where we were discussing about um, the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. Mm. So, and in that connection, we are hearing to what Maitreya Rishi is explaining to Vidura, because Vidura was quite curious that um, Narada Muni went to Prachetas, and there he was glorifying Dhruva Maharaj, and he wanted to know more about it. This is what we discussed last time. How did Narada Muni glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and what pastimes were described in that meeting? Hmm? So this is what devotee like Narada Muni is ever eager to know the pastimes and glories of the Lord, because that gives an unimaginable bliss. Usually, when we're talking about happiness, happiness is all about our bodily platform, or mental platform, where that happiness is a kind of a relief from uh, mm, pain, mm, or it could be kind of a pleasure that's coming out of a desire that's fulfilled, mm, which could be a material desire, or that can always be temporary. Just imagine that if we want uh, 10,000 euros per month as a income, if the Lord is blessing with 10,000, yes, the desire is fulfilled, we are happy. But our desires again grew more than this 10,000 and make us feel that, okay, yeah, it's not enough. And then we again pray. So the Lord is fulfilling, but we are not satisfied with what our plans are that keep changing. So here, coming back here, when the talks are between the devotees like Maitreya Rishi, very learned, and Vidura, who is a great devotee. So these topics are so um, pleasing, not only for them that they forget themselves and they engage in discussing the discourses of the Lord and His devotees, but even today we are reading because of the highly potent samvad, yeah, the dialogue or discussions. So here in that context, Maitreya Rishi is explaining to Vidura after Maharaj Dhruv departed for the forest, then Utkala, he didn't want to become the king because he's already realized soul, so he didn't take over the kingdom. And um then what happened is The ministers, they thought, okay, King Vatsara then took over, and then there is this whole description of the dynasty. And we came to this that of the 12 sons, Ulmuka begot 6 sons in his wife's Pushkarini. They were all very good sons, and their names were Anga, Sumana, Khyati, Kratu, Angira, and Gaya. We are going to talk about Vena, King Vena, the wife of Anga, who is Suniti. She is the daughter of death personified. She gave birth to a son named Vena, who was very crooked. Hmm. The saintly king Anga was very disappointed with Vena's bad character. And then what he did, he left the kingdom and went out to the forest. This particular part, we are going to read it further in detail now. Hmm. Hmm. My dear Vidra, when great sages curse, their words are invincible as a thunderbolt. Thus, when they cursed King Vena out of anger, he died. Huh? After his death. So this is what we'll be discussing in next chapter. Since there was no king, all the rogues and thieves flourished. The kingdom became unregulated and all the citizens suffered greatly. On seeing this, the great sages took the right hand of Vena. Okay, we'll come to this part later, next week. So this is what we'll kind of dive deep into to understand what happened to this King Anga and what happened to King Vena, and then we will very gracefully enter into the pastimes of King Prithu, who is even King Prithu, who is Archie. We will discuss that in coming weeks. So Vidra also inquired, how is that the great sages who were completely conversant with religious principles desire to curse King Vena? This is the question. And a curse of Brahmana is not an ordinary thing. In today's world, we forgot the greatness of the Brahmanas. Their importance in the society is not encouraged, due to which the Brahmanas, who are very qualified um, in organizing nice fire sacrifices, nice yajnas, yagas, we don't find them because they are exploited. They're exploited. People who are very rich, they engage them in kinds of all for their own material benefits, but not the ideal purpose of Brahmanas is not for one's own sense gratification, not to do karma kanda, so that all everyone who, yeah, we know this cases where Brahmanas are engaged in uh, yajnas so that the politicians can flourish more. uh, we see how some people, they hear to whatever the great so-called Brahmanical intellectual um, assets are. They go to that and they ask, okay, can you do this? I want this, I want that, and then for the livelihood um, and for self-interest, the Brahmanas are no more thinking of for the welfare of the people. They are only thinking welfare of themselves and the politicians or anyone for that matter, businessmen who come to them. So in that way, there is uh, no highly qualified Brahmana communities which are always only thinking about the welfare of society. Um, Very few is almost negligible. Yeah, I shouldn't, I will not say that there are no Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are communities are there, but they are very, very scarce, that as if like a handful of sand in the whole beach. Hmm. We know how much it is. Nothing. So it is the duty of all the citizens in a state never to insult the king, even though he sometimes appears to have done something very sinful. King is always more influential than all other ruling chiefs. So Vidra is inquiring, my dear Brahmana, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee, so please explain this. And from here, our Sarika Mataji, she was reading what happened. Now Mataji, she is explaining what has actually happened that causes all the next steps towards appearance of the Lord. But before that, what happens? So here in this verse 25, we see that king. One second. I have notes. Yeah. So once Anga arranged to perform a great sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna, and all the expert Brahmanas present knew how to invite the demigods. So we may have seen, we may know that when the yajnas are performed, there's a lot of requirements of dravyas, dravya padartha. They say like wood, like clarified butter, um, nice horse. In the case of Ashwamedha Yajna, nice brahmanas who are expert, and also as part of this, so many ingredients, havis are required so that these are offered. So in that way, everything was arranged. The king has arranged everything. The brahmanas are expert. They were inviting the devatas through these mm, um, process. But what was happening is no demigods participated or appeared in that sacrifice, and this was brought to King Anga. They were saying, uh, we have tried. mm, The demigods are not accepting our oblations in spite of well collected and uncontaminated sacrificial paraphernalia. So it's not like today's where okay, any wood is okay, or a butter of a himsa cow is also okay. No, it's not like that. Mm, uh, Proper. Everything was there. Chanting is there. Mm, so we do not find any reason. So we do not find any reason that the demigod should feel insulted or neglected in any way. But still, the demigods who are witnessing for the sacrifice do not accept their shares. We do not know why this is happening. So that is the state. And then I think here we see very seva aparad. Mm. It is indicated herein that if there is negligence on the part of priest, the demigods do not accept their share. Similarly, in devotional service, there are offenses called seva aparad. Those who are engaged in worshipping the deity Radha and Krishna in the temple should avoid such offenses in service. The offenses in service are described in the Nectar of Devotion. If we simply make a show of offering services to the deity but do not care for the seva aparad, certainly Radha Krishna deity will not accept offerings from such non-devotees. Devotees engaged in temple worship should therefore not manufacture their own methods but should strictly follow the regulative principles of cleanliness, and then offerings will be accepted. So it's very important that we are not it's not like a, what do you call this, mm, what is it called, play weddings, huh? What is it, a girl and a boy they come, they bring their respective dolls, and then they marry these dolls, and they say, here, now these dolls are married. And mm, it's not like a play. Mm. When we are talking about deity worship, it is very important that we are understanding that we are doing for the pleasure of the Lord. We are not doing it for our pleasure. Seva itself is selfless service. When we are offering a service, we see that what the deities appreciate. That's why sometimes we might see, even if someone is very sincere and offering paraphernalia to the Lord is not accepting. For example, you apply some ornament to the turban that doesn't fit, that falls down, or when some mukut is there that's not in right. So yeah, we might think them as just some idol made of wood or panchaloha, five metal elements, metals, sorry, and or made of marble, black or white. Wow. And then when we are offering our worship to the deities, we have to see that, okay, in the end, uh, whom are we um, dressing up? It is the Lord. And the Lord also has feelings. And the Lord is full of feelings and full of expression. And that means mm, we also ask, how does it look mm, after we dress up the deities? Yeah, that is the reason where they are showing a mirror to the Lord. Oh Lord, please see. And we see instances where so many things happen where the Lord is throwing out if he doesn't like. Mm, Of course, how come? How is that he's rejecting? Yes, he is the Lord and he is a person. He is not in person. He is person. He would like to. Yeah, we see when we are reading and hearing about Jagannath pastimes, so many things happen. So here, very important point is that when a Vaishnava is offering service, especially for the deities in the temples, we see that one should always think about that what pleases the Lord, and when they are in this mood and offer, then they can save themselves from seva aparad, and in that way, the Lord is pleased, the priest is pleased, and everyone is pleased having such a wonderful darshan of the Lord. And very key important point what Prabhupada is saying is that we should not invent our own ways of mm, what is it here mentioned? Manufacture our own methods. We should not do that in the deity worship. There are pancharatric way of how to worship the Lord. We should just follow the order and we should offer one after the other and then serve the Lord with the mood of serving Him. And by that He is pleased and He is fully present there. Okay. So that one part is there. And then we go on again next verses. So now we see that hearing this Anga became very grave and he started inquiring. Kindly tell me if I have committed any offenses because of which the demigods are not accepting my share. So although invitation we may invite, but if someone is not coming, definitely there is something. So this is what actually Anga is asking the priest. Is it something on my part that's due to which this is happening? And here is saying, uh, the head priest said, in this life we do not find any sinful activity. Even within your mind, you are not offensive. uh, But we can see that in your previous life, you performed sinful activities due to which, in spite of you having all qualifications, we have no son. So, if we read Bhagavatam, we can see so many references about proofs for reincarnation. Mm, Reincarnation. Oh, incarnation is, oh, we think that it's only the Lord who is incarnating as avatar and in his expansions, full expansion, partial expansion, plenary portions of partial expansions like that. But when we talk, we are also incarnating, but our incarnation is driven by karma. And here, this is what we see the purpose. Okay, coming to that point, here we see that the priests who can um, see the past of not just okay what happened in last 10 years. No, he's talking about last life, what happened is that is the cause of the problem you're having. The purpose of marrying is to beget a son, because a son is necessary to deliver his father and forefathers from all hellish conditional life in which they may be. So this is the prime reason. Yeah, in India there is so high hype to have a son. It's not for nothing. It is because a son, putra, put means sin, tra means one who can free. So a son, a qualified son. Yeah. Of course, in those days there was no need of mentioning of qualified sons, um, because they were having mm, uh, qualified association. send them to Gurukul, had a brahmachari lifestyle. All these things were there, so kids were brought up properly, which there is no, but the desire or expectation is still there. Just like someone is going to what is it called? Um, a goldsmith, yeah, or not, yeah, one who is selling gold, yeah. So he's going to this guy and asking, "Can you give me this gold chain? Looks very nice." And when the goldsmith is asking, "Okay, this costs so 100 um, thousand rupees or 1 lakh rupee," then I am going to take my wallet out. I'm going to give him exactly 1 lakh rupee in his hand, and then the goldsmith is simply saying, "Hey, this is a fake note." Yeah, they look same, but it's a fake note. Will I get the gold? No. But I still have this expectation because I'm still thinking that this is indeed a uh, real note. Huh? But a goldsmith can very well see, no, it's not the case, and then he will not give the golden chain. So what happens is that people who are interested in only sons, they are going to that much that if it's a daughter, then they don't want to have her anymore, because there is no such a great statement said about the girls, and they think that, oh, it's all about boys, and then we see there is so much inequality, and in the name of inequality, what is happening? This comma is causing a huge disturbance, and because of that, um, the scarcity of girls is more, due to which um, they have a upper hand when it comes to the time of marriage. So many disturbances happen because of our greed of having sons, expecting the sons can free. How is that possible? If the son can lead a life of brahmacharya for his entire life, he can free his father. He can free his forefathers. If a child who is a brahmachari, if he becomes a sannyas, then he can do that. Hmm? In sannyas, of course, there is also no question that he doesn't even have to offer the shraddh ceremony if he really performs his sannyas order very well in spreading the message of the Lord. So only a brahmachari can do. Okay, let's talk about a grihastha. When we talk about a grihastha, if he is following the right standards of grihastha life, where keeping Krishna again in the center and doing everything, detachment in grihastha life, then he can free his father and forefathers. Otherwise, he cannot do it just by performing a shraddh ceremony. Then the the what do we call this? The debt is not relieved. It is only when a qualified son is offering the shraddh, then it happens. Otherwise, it's only karma kand. And now we come to talk about here is the purpose of marrying is to beget a son, because the son has this. Yeah, Chanakya Pandit therefore says, "Putra hinam gruham shunyam." Without a son, a married life is simply abominable. King Anga was a very pious king in this life, but because of his previous sinful activity, he could not get son. It is concluded, therefore, it is if person does not get a son, it is due to his past sinful life. Okay, now do we want to change the whole world upside down to get a child, do everything nonsense? No. We accept it as a karma, and we see what happens here later is there is a way out for such situations. The way out is very clear here. And then what are the sages advising him? O king, we wish all good fortune for you. So Brahmanas are very important, and you have no son, but if you pray at once to the Supreme, verse number, yeah, Supreme Lord, and ask for a son, and if you execute the sacrifice for that purpose, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, the Supreme Lord, will fulfill your wish, fulfill your desire. So if we have desire still to have son, and if we have a fear that okay, our father, forefather, to really is in my responsibility, and I want to do it explicitly for that, still the way is to please the Supreme Lord. Why? Because it's mentioned Tata Sva Bhaga Deyani. So we are distributing. Hmm? grahishyanti divokashaha yad yajna purusha sakshad. When yajna purusha, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, uh, apatyaya harir vrita. So he's saying, when Hari, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifice, is invited to fulfill your desire for a son, all the demigods will come with him and take their shares in sacrifice. So, even if one desires to have a son, even in that case, it's still best to worship the Supreme Lord because we know in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is saying, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Here it says, I am the beneficiary of uh, the yajnas and tapas, yeah, for the sacrifice and austerities, whatever is performed, I am the beneficiary, whatever. hmm, and Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, and I am also all pervading and master of all the of the universe. Um, Sahara Sarva Bhutanam. So, and then what is the Lord doing is benefiting all by what? Benefactoring everyone what they need. And then one who understands this and engages in that service, what will he attain? Shantim Richati. Gnatva Mam Shantim Richati. So he will attain peace. So this is what is said. And here is again, we we don't have to see, okay, where shall I go? No, one-stop solution for all problems can be still attained by accepting the instructions of the Lord. Anyway, so here the performer of the sacrifices under karma conduct achieve the fulfillment of desire for which he worships the Lord. And Bhagavad Gita reference, the Lord says that he awards benedictions to the worshipper according to their desire. Huh. This is very, very important. That's also is the reason why we should really have a right desire. Our best even is not to have a desire at all. That is the topmost level. We can't reach there. At least we should have better desires. And here, otherwise, what will happen? He'll just get entangled. He will not get freed up. Here we see the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives all living entities conditioned within this material world full freedom to act in their own way. Huh? But to his devotees, this is very, very nice. Uh, Actually, there is also later it will come the karmis and bhaktas. What is it? But to his devotees, he says that instead of working in that way, it is better to surrender unto him, for he will take charge of the devotee. The difference, this is the difference between devotee and a fruitu actor. Fruitu actor enjoys only the fruits of his own activity, but a devotee, being under the guidance of the Supreme Lord, simply advances in devotional service to achieve ultimate goal of life. The significant word in this verse is kaman, which means sense gratificatory desires. A devotee is devoid of all the kaman. He is anyabhilashita shunya. Shunya means nothing. Anyabhilashita. Abhilash means desire. Anya means no other desire. A devotee is always anyabhilashita shunya jnana karmadi anavritam ankulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttamam. This is the definition. A devotee is always devoid of all desires for sense gratification. His only aim is to satisfy or gratify the senses of the Lord. That is the difference between the karmi and a devotee. In that, thus, for the sake of a son for King Angad, they decided to offer oblations to Lord Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of all living entities. So, and um, here we see further detail. The word Sipi Vitsaya appears in this verse. Sipi means the flames of the sacrifice. In the sacrificial fire, if oblations are offered into the flame, then Lord Vishnu is situated there in the form of flames. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is known as Sipi Vishta. Sipi Vishta. Very nice name, by the way. So as soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in milk. And this is similar in lines to what in Ramayana we see that this Yagna Purusha comes with a big pot of rice, and here also in then the king was very liberal, and after taking permission from the priest, uh, he took the preparations in his joined palms, and after smelling it, he offered a portion to his wife. And here we read what happens um here. Yes. The wife of King, who is Suniti, was not fit to accept this benediction. Yet the king was so liberal that without hesitation he offered it to his wife, this rice. Mhm. Yeah. Of course, everything is designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as will be explained in later verses. So we see that, okay, though no qualification, but still it happened. Why? Because the Lord also has a plan. Yeah. Since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Lord, in order to increase the detachment from his material, okay, this all is the reason behind this whole pastime that is explained here. We'll skip that. We will read in detail and understand. Although the queen had no son after eating that food, which had the power, then she begot a child in due course. She became pregnant and gave birth. Here is also mentioned about Pumsavan. Pumsavana is one of the 10 kinds of sanskaras. For this is mainly done for getting a male child. Usually they say. We know this first one is what is that? Mm, what is first? Garbhadan sanskar. Yeah. After that, this Pumsavan sanskar comes. Sabala eva purusho mata maham anuvrata. So now the son is born. What kind of son? That boy was born partially in the dynasty of irreligion. His grandfather was death personified, and the boy grew up as his follower, and he became a greatly irreligious person. So here there is a whole important point that I mentioned that says um, Suniti was daughter of death personified. Generally, the daughter, and this is generally, if we see daughters, receive qualifications of her father, and the son acquires those of the mother. Uh, this is natural, and there is a whole axiomatic way of Prabhupada mentioning what does it mean. And what this says is that usually, if we see in a family, the girls um, love their father more, and that's how they imbibe those qualities of their father, and sons love their mother more, and then they acquire these qualities of their mother. And according to Smriti Shastra, a child generally follows the principles of his maternal uncle's house. So there is genuine usual attachment more towards the mother side. uh, Naranam Matula Karma means that a child generally follows the qualities of his maternal family. If the maternal family is very corrupt or sinful, the child, even though born of a good father, becomes a victim of the maternal family. According to Vedic civilization, therefore, before the marriage takes place, on account is taken of both boys and girls' families. If, according to astrological calculation, the combination is perfect, then marriage takes place. Sometimes, however, there is a mistake and family life becomes frustrating. So this is also important point that in the heat of what do we call eagerness to uh, enjoy a next phase. Yeah. Okay. I finished my studies. What is next? Oh, I have to get a job. Oh, I finished my job. Now I have to get married. How to find a girl? Huh? Yeah. Just options, whatever are there. Let's know. In those days, everything was happening very traditionally, which is in line with Vedic way of living, and that's why um, there was so much compatibility, so much accommodation of understanding others' opinion and then leading a life, and which may not happen when the favorable conditions of the astrological elements or planets is not there, it can lead to a frustrating life. It appears that King Anga did not get a very good wife in Suniti because she was the daughter of death personified. Sometimes the Lord arranges an unfortunate wife. So when we say now King Anga coming from the dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj, how can it be that he had such a bad wife? Uh, so what is good, what is bad? I think this is very important to see here that when it comes to the lives of the devotees, the Lord take personal interest and personal care and engages himself in personal ways so that that person is getting more and more closer and becoming more favorable, blessed more favorable conditions to attain um, perfection of life. So here also, it's not that Anga was bad and there was no, it appears like, oh, what is this? Anga got injustice. Being a pious king, he got what is it? The word used here? Unfortunate wife and unqualified son. What is this? Here we see that it appears by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, King Anga, although a pious devotee, got an unfortunate wife like Suniti and later on bad child like Vena. Huh? But the result was that he got complete freedom from the entanglement of family life and left home to go back to Godhead. So, in normal cases, if a person is not a devotee, he would just like it. These days, don't we see? If someone is calling, hey, let's go to party, they are more mm, appreciated. Rather, if someone is saying, okay, um, Mm. If someone is saying, "Hey, your child is smoking," then the father is feeling, okay, nice." Yeah, we usually recollect one incident where we went to a gathering. It was a very nice special occasion, Varalakshmi Vratam, and then all the friends were invited there, and we went there also, and they were discussing about their social gatherings. Of course, on not on that day, and they were saying, you know what, we were having a party, and I was feeling there is no company, and immediately my daughter, she said, no, I asked, "Hey, is there someone who can give company?" And then immediately my daughter, she came out of blue and she said, yes, why not? And then I was shocked. I never knew that she drank, and now I'm having a nice company that my daughter also can drink. Hmm? So some nice examples, real life examples can make us scared. So, uh, but here we see if one is a devotee, that's the reason why we should always want to become a devotee. Why? Because then the Lord takes control of our life, and then whatever may appear to be um, abnormal is still the Lord's arrangement, so that in the end, what will happen? It will only lead to success. And here, what in the case of King Anga, what happened? He got early realizations of detached life, and then he left home, left home to go back to God. He left home anyway, which is also already a big step in our life. I think in somewhere the purport Prabhupada mentions, after fixing his bow and arrow. Okay, now after Vena came, what kind of great leelas that he performed? That's what comes here. He's after fixing his bow and arrow, the cruel boy used to just boy. See how what kind of kids they are. And here we see Vena that he used to go to forest and unnecessarily kill innocent deer. And as soon as he came, all people would cry, "Here comes cruel Vena." Mm. And here comes cruel Vena. So this Kshatriyas are allowed to hunt in the forest, but not for unnecessary reason, not to kill animals for eating or for any other purposes. Kshatriyas were sometimes expected to cut off the head of a culprit in the state. For this reason, the Kshatriyas were allowed to hunt in the forest. Uh, Otherwise, uh, one may feel, oh, okay, no, I'm they see, oh, non-violence is better, let's not do anything. But then the culprit continues to commit crime. Because the son of King Anga Vena was born of a bad mother, he was very cruel and he used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill the animals. All the neighborhood inhabitants would be frightened by his presence. Huh. So, from the beginning of his life, he was fearful to the citizens, which is not the purpose of the king. The king or the authority um, should help to establish harmony in the country. A Kride. So, at playing what he does, the boy was so cruel that while playing with young boys of his age, he would kill them very mercilessly, and if they were animals, as if they were animals meant for slaughter. Now, who will play with such a boy? Hmm? It create more problem. After seeing the cruel and merciless behavior of his son, King Anga punished him in different ways to reform him. So the next step is reforming. The child is very bad now. To re-establish peace. Uh, Anga tried many ways but was unable to change, bring him to the path of gentleness. Mm, he thus became greatly aggrieved. Mm, Of course, it's not like Anga didn't do anything. He tried his best. Now the king thought to himself, very important. Persons who have no son are certainly fortunate. That is a realization. When we do not have right offsprings, when we don't have right children, the first immediate thing will come, that, oh, first of all, why do I have them? They must have worshipped the Lord in their previous lives, so they would not have to suffer the unbearable unhappiness caused by a bad son. Hmm? Persons, he's saying, persons who have no sons are certainly fortunate. Why? They must have worshipped the Lord in their previous lives, so that they would not have to suffer the unbearable unhappiness caused by a bad son. So it is said that a married couple must have a son, otherwise their family life is void. But a son born without good qualities is as good as a blind eye. A blind eye has no use for seeing, but is simply unbearably painful. The king therefore thought himself very unfortunate to have such a bad son. A sinful son causes a person's reputation to vanish. His irreligious activities at home cause irreligion and quarrel among everyone, and this creates only endless anxiety. And now comes, who, if he is considerate and intelligent, would desire such a worthless son? Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the life, for the living entity, and he makes one's home miserable. Now, thus the king thought, a bad son is better than a good son because a good son creates an attachment for home, whereas a bad son does not. A bad son creates a hellish home from which an intelligent man naturally becomes very easily detached. So this is what the great king Anga was thinking. Uh, uh, what a kind of son he has. I'm having this is causing me. Mm. People who do not have son are better than me because they would have all definitely prayed already that we don't want to enter into all this business of suffering. Let's not have child. So they are far better. But later, uh, King Anga, being a devotee, he's thinking that a bad son is better than a good son. Wow. So what is that? Why? Because with that, whatever realizations, the learnings that need to happen, Anga had learnt a bad son creates a hellish home. And I think in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about Prahlad Maharaj. Yes. The king begins to think in terms of attachment and detachment from one's material home. According to Prahlad Maharaj, what should one do? One should understand that this material home is like a blind well, pitch dark, blind well, andakupam. And uh, one should be very careful. Vidada namaste. Uh, vanam gati. One has to leave to the forest. Vana means forest. And in the purport, we see that not any kind of forest, yeah, but actually one here refers to as Vrindavan, uh, to the holy place of the Lord. And then That is also mentioned here. Prahlada has advised that one give up his blind well of house and perform forest. According to Vedic civilization, this giving up of home by vanaprastha and sannyas is compulsory. It's not a choice. Or we say, hey, anyway, there is this um, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That order is messed up. Um, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Where how many sannyas are there? How many is Vanaprastha really existing? Only I see Grihastha, but actually that Grihastha is also not Grihastha. That is Grihamedi way of living, self-satisfied with their own self desires, fulfilling the self desires. Brahmacharya, oh, come on. We all want co-ed. What is it called? Co-education, right from, and so when everything is messed up, then there is no problem if Vanaprastha ashram disappears or forget about sannyas ashram. No, these both play a very important role in the society. Yeah? And one has to take bold steps to detach from the material entanglement and take to these ashrams. But people are so attached to their homes that even up to the point of death, they do not like to retire from home life. King Anga, therefore, thinking in terms of detachment, accepted his bad son as a good impetus for detachment from home life. So the reason for not going is entering into Vanaprastha ashram is because of attachment. My son's family, his son's education, his son's so it's just like some people who want to see uh, movies, uh, movie after one after the other. They want to continue seeing, oh, there is some new change in this, new twist in this, new concept in it, new. Yeah, so in that way, one is so much. mm, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsan. Uh, just, oh, what I'm going to see. Oh, great! My grandson, granddaughter, great grandson, great granddaughter. What all they are going to see? Let me see. It's so interesting. And then what is happening? Hmm. The desire to enjoy what they are seeing and what they are doing, to see that entertainment, right? Just people are interested in seeing movies and then they are seeing. Similarly, they want to see what is happening in their own life, and it is anyway bitter. Then comes Krodha, Kama, and Krodha. Hmm. Anyway, so in that way, there are 8 levels, 6 or 8, I think 8 step fall down that leads one to this problem. Therefore, King Anga, therefore, thinking in terms of detachment, accepted his bad son as a good impetus. He therefore considered his bad son his friend, since he was helping him become detached from his home. Ultimately, one has to learn how to detach oneself from attachment to the material life. Therefore, if a bad son, by his bad behavior, helps a householder to go away from home, it is a boon. And then thinking so, now what king did? Thing like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. Once, therefore, in dead of night, he got up from bed and left Vena's mother, who was sleeping deeply. He gave up all attraction for his greatly opulent kingdom, and unseen by anyone, he very silently gave up his home and opulence and proceeded towards the forest. And in that, here, the purport Prabhupada is mentioning, this is not ordinary. Only King King Anga can do like this. It was not a very easy task for the king to give up his opulent kingdom and young, faithful wife, but it was certainly a great blessing of the Supreme Lord that he could give up the attachment and go out to the forest without being seen by anyone. So this is very important. So that's the reason we have to always take shelter of the Lord. What does it mean to pray that to get this mm, right desires of detached life? And then we go to this, I think last one, or I think, yeah, last two. Hmm. When it was understood that king was indifferently left home, all the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, and people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as a less experienced mystic. And this is what Prabhupada mentions. If one is less experienced, he cannot find it. Similarly, the citizens were not so scrutinizingly looking for his king. That's why they could not succeed. When the king left, it was certain that he was staying somewhere else. But because the citizens did not know how to find him, they were frustrated, like the less intelligent mystic. That's it, I think, the last. When the citizens could not find any trace of the king after searching for him everywhere, they were very disappointed and they returned to the city where all the great sages of the country assembled because of king's absence. With tears in their eyes, and the citizens offered respectful obeisances and informed sages in full detail that they were unable to find the king anywhere. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, 13th chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled Description of the Descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Anyone want to add or have any questions? If I can try to answer. Hare Krishna.
Hare,
I'm quite
Hare Krishna,
silent.
Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji, I think very deep topic, especially the way they are, the way Prabhupada and Bhagavatam focuses Krishna's hand in everything. Like even if you have a bad son, it means detachment. Sorry, bad wife, right? Even if you have a not so. I think I took a screenshot of that. I forgot the exact words, but yeah, see,
I
sometimes
was expecting that, huh? Yeah.
yes. So sometimes the Lord arranges an unfortunate wife for a devotee. So Raj, that was very, very deep. So yeah, Bhagavatam has got lessons for all our life, and yeah, that
All
was
age
quite
groups, huh?
absolutely Prabhu. Absolutely, yeah,
All age groups, all needs are covered.
absolutely Prabhuji, absolutely.
It is something like if you have if you have 1,000 rupee note, it has also
Absolutely.
inside that 500. It has a 150, whatever.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. We were discussing about this during the Simachalam drive, so I don't know exactly. It just fitted.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I'm happy
Thank
that time came, the right chapter came also.
Exactly, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. I had a question.
Mm-hmm. Hare
So,
Krishna. Devi.
can we conclude that having no son is better? And in case if someone in their life is having problem in having son, then they should rather accept it rather than trying all the ways to have a son?
Yeah, very nice question. So should we continue to, yeah. So something are in our hands, something are not in our hands. Yeah. And something is something like what's happening in our life is already good. Hmm. If we are see, if we stick to right process and if we stick to right lifestyle, hmm, then whatever will happen will be happening good. And whatever is not in our chart, and if we try to get it, yeah, one could get it. Just in the case of Anga, what happened, he got it. And when he got it, it was still mercy of the Lord. Yeah, otherwise, how can the Lord come and give the sweet rice that can lead to a son like Vena? Hmm?
Okay.
So if one has a son like that, it still is happening good. But coming back to your question, should one have to over endeavor or endeavor? That is very important. Over endeavoring for material things will not uh, give you a chance or give us a chance to do actually what we are supposed to do, which is devotion, bhakti. If our whole time is only behind getting a child, then when can we do bhakti? Hmm? We are doing that, we are doing this, we are doing, yeah, so many things, and for a very, very long time. Yeah, this is what, not only for begetting a child or not, this is over endeavoring is not mm, appreciated or accepted, especially when we want to liberate ourselves from all this suffering. After all, the reason, as we saw the quote that the purpose of sun is what? to free the father from the sins and forefathers from the sins, right?
Yeah.
But that can be achieved if one becomes a devotee. One
Okay.
doesn't have to have a child. If one becomes a devotee, then he's not his generations. Yeah, this is what we see in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, he is a devotee. Then his father is automatically liberated, freed from all the sins. Hiranyakashipu. This is what Lord Nrsingadeva personally says, confirms.
Okay.
Rather, we think that okay, we are using the strength of karma kanda. Why? Because we don't have devotion. If we are becoming developing a taste to serve the Lord, to offer our love to the Lord, which is the bhakti whole process. Just imagine if you love someone, won't your love touch them, and then they're getting affected and they want to do something for you good? Even
Yeah.
normal people do it. What to talk about Lord? Huh? Lord will never show back like people in our life who show their back.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
can
So
conclude that, for example, if a person is blessed with a good son, a bad son, or if he is destined to not have a son, he should consider that this is best for me. This is God's best choice for me. Accept it and try to live with it.
yeah. So if we focus on the mainstream, then whatever side stream, if it happens, happens. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Doesn't matter. There are so many who have accepted the Lord as their child. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone who has accepted Lord as their husband, Mirabai.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Thank
only
you.
when we have this karmakandic ideology that oh no, son is really helping us. What is the benefit? It's only for the pleasing forefathers. They can anyway be pleased if they see that hey, a person is a devotee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Yeah, thank you. And something else also came to my mind when we are talking about it. Yeah, so coming back, it's not only about begetting a son or not. It's very important what kind of activities we do. Coming back to doing and over endeavoring. Over endeavor, overdoing is always not good. Just like when we want to add salt to some whatever we cook, if we add more than needed, what is the use? The ultimate purpose of putting salt is so that everyone will eat. But if you put more than needed, what is the use? No, no use. Hmm. In the end, here, what happened here, in the end, the son was born, and then what is the use? He became only a cause of the defame of his father, right? And again, coming back, for if we talk about again kids, yeah, if it is there in the charts, it will happen. Even if it doesn't happen, and if still we have strong desire, no, 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 the society, what will everyone talk about me? What will that? What will this? And all these things. The one-stop solution: go to the Supreme Lord, so that He will give such a son or a daughter, so that it's not just the pleasing our circle, our obligation, uh, calming down everyone around us. No, He will give such a way that we'll only get more closer to the Lord. Even if He gives, if He doesn't give, that's okay, because He doesn't want us to go into all these things. Recently, when we were hearing to His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj, he was, yeah, we don't want to settle ourselves in Grihastha ashram for ages. For no, as soon as yeah, as soon as possible, get out of it. Hmm. The wife and husband, they come together. Yeah, they have plans, and afterwards, when the plan is not happening in the way they wanted to have children, it's a blessing because they don't have to take care of the children because they don't have children. What does it mean? Then they should engage 99.99. No, they should engage 100% in devotion. Hmm? It's a special mercy. Not having children is special mercy. In one way or the other, we just understand that this is the plan of the Lord and just engage in serving Him. And that's where we can go to the next levels of Vanaprastha and eventually sannyas ashram. Yep, Divya Mataji, if it answered your question.
Yeah, this last part that you told, that was so convincing. Thank you. I understood it now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm always a little slow, so it takes some time to really warm up and then comes the answer. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I had one question about why so bad child Vena born? Was it because the daughter of Yamraj, or
Yeah,
death
because of Suniti.
personified?
Yeah.
But Yamraj is also like Mahajan, and
Yeah.
his daughter is so
Yeah.
some
So
influence is there, or
yeah. So there is this yeah, after all, the demigods are the servants of the Lord, and then Yamaraj is also Mahajan, and then how come his daughter be that? And this is all when we talk about these are the past times of the Lord, and where he enacts situations such a way that these modes, it's not that Yamaraj is free from, or he's on a transcendental platform. We know that devatas are still under the mode of goodness. Yeah, but not always in the mode of pure goodness.
okay.
So this is one thing, and later in next chapter end we will see also little about the cause of Vena behave like this. Not next chapter. The next chapter we will discuss about what happens, and because of this effects, there was the whole process that has to go through which the good side. Yeah. So a child now who is born of a good and bad has both, and the bad has to be removed and good has to be there. So there is the priest. They do some special things so that they create a bahuka. Yeah. So who is a blackish small dark child who is the who is the part which is contributed from Suniti. So anyway, that we will discuss little.
And Prabhuji, as here you mentioned that King Vena then finally understands the mercy of Lord, that
King Anga.
King Ganga, and he went to forest. But what about those children that were killed by King Vena? Was it also mercy of Lord for them?
No. There is a disturbance, and to rectify. It's not like, okay, is it Lord's plan to kill all them? Yeah, we see that. Is it like, oh no, is it Lord's mercy through which these boys who got killed by Vena got liberated? No, that's your question.
Yes.
Right? No, he was creating all kinds of disturbance, which is adharmic. So definitely there is some previous karmic things that they had to come in contact with Vena, and due to which they had to suffer.
Okay, so for some it is like mercy or mercy of the Lord or the time.
Yeah.
And for some it is karmic reaction.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what in Bhagavatam it said, it causes disturbance. So which means then the disturbance, there is effect of it.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Otherwise it would have been said like, hey, this is such arrangement that he killed all the people. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Omkareshwar Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रभु जी. बहुत सुंदर कथा आपने की प्रभु जी, बहुत सुंदर. एंड या द सब्जेक्ट मैटर वाज very monotonous. When son is born with bad qualities, and how Bhagavatam has brought, and our Acharya has brought all the good messages out of it. And you have also conveyed these messages to us very effectively. Prabhuji, one thing Mataji was asking Divya Mataji, and you also answered very rightly, but I want to just further, because I also heard from Hari Parsad Prabhu about this topic, if one should, importance of the son or daughter in the family. And Prabhuji very clearly tell that, in context of the present society, present civilization, he said, we should have a son or daughter. Definitely, we should have a grahastha must have a santan. It's very important because of we have to repay the pitra rin we have, so we have to repay it. And he said, unless one has a biological problem, he clearly says, if someone has a biological problem, then it's okay without having a son or daughter, without having santan. So you also conveyed the same message, but just want to say that what I also heard from Hari Parsad Prabhu, the same thing. And over endeavoring is not good. Actually, Prabhuji, we met a family here in Aachen, and we had some discussions. And in the past, it was very nice at a home. And she's an Indian woman, and this Mataji said, I found one thing very nice in the German society, that they can choose if they want to have children or not. Because they are free, they are very advanced, they can choose. And then I said, no, it's not good. If they are biologically fit, they should have child. And then she told me, you want to get mukti, because they want, in India, people want to get mukti and shrad and all pitra. So you want to do by swarth. I said, no, it's because of Shastraj, and we have to also, so she went into mode of argument, and she said, people are blind faith it, and I like the German society, European society, because they can decide if they want to have children, because they can make career, they can make a nice life. If she is not able to, because of career, if she cannot make children, it's good, it's nice. So this kind of civilization is happening in Indian society also, not only in European or Western countries.
So some things we learn not by seeing, but some things we learn only with self-experience. So people, I mean, we don't wish for them like that, but we definitely see that, as you very nicely, precisely presented it, the purpose of Grihastha Ashram, otherwise, why there is a need to, need that there's a tie-up of a girl and a boy together, is not only to have sense enjoyment for lifetime, but actually to develop detachment, and that detachment can, we see that in the form of family. And if we go to a step further, the purpose of marriage is for what? To beget Krishna conscious children. It's otherwise there is no need. There is no need. Because if you see in the other ashrams, and everyone is individually doing, leading devotee, devotion, seva, everything is going on. Only in Grihastha ashram there is this license that one male and female can come together, mainly so that they can welcome Krishna conscious children in their life, and so that they have the power that they can engage the resources in the service of the Lord, so that they are supporting themselves and they are supporting the society by expanding. This is what Brahma, when he created this whole, he created all so that all this progenation can happen, so that devotee children can there. Otherwise, only disturbances. I mean, we have not come to that part. What Brahma struggled when he was creating, what kind of beings came into existence until humans came. That's a different story. But ultimately, the purpose was exactly this: to beget children who are not disturbance to the society. And otherwise, take early retirement. Just like if we don't work in a company, what will we do? We just, if there is no work in the office, what are we doing? Are we still doing nothing? No, we just take, okay, I don't need, the company doesn't need me, the company will take me off, or I will think I'm not doing anything, let me move on. So early retirement is something not so new these days. Everyone struggles like, oh, I have to work 65 years or 65 until 65, 68 age. Let me take early retirement. What for? To feel relieved from that. early retirement, if the time is also in the marriage life. If it doesn't go on, that one has to take this.
Prabhuji, regarding early retirement, recently one of my colleague, very senior colleague, he took retirement because he has 4 or 5 kids at home. So these are his dogs. He said, I want to care for my dogs. They need more time, so I want early retirement.
So another Bharat Mahārāja is getting ready. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Omkareshwar Prabhu. Yeah, but again, in lines of Hariparshad Prabhu also, it's still very important to say, because as you said that a Grahastha ashram means they should have child. It still pushes us beyond the endeavoring to over endeavoring, but it's very important that you have also said this, that we should still only endeavor to have children, not over endeavor to do anything, everything, because that itself is the center of our life. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, in our movement, we have seen a lot of couples, very exemplary couple, they have no children. And maybe because of biological reasons only. And they are so happy. They are serving in the temple, devotees, the congregation, and they are in bliss, complete bliss, without any children. Even.
Yeah. One can, if see, all these things are arrangements so that we can advance. So if one is in the Grahastha ashram, one need not say, oh, until I am 50 years, I have to be in Grahastha ashram, or until 60 years, I have to be in Grahastha ashram. They can already, can already lead a vanaprastha lifestyle. Of course, it doesn't mean that they now go to a forest, taking only one suitcase per person, and wherever the tirthas are there, just spend there. No, it's not like that. No, even in spite of working at office, they can always dedicate the full time they have only to Krishna. That is what vanaprastha these days means. It's not like, okay, the reason why I'm saying this is, you all might know, but just this came to the context, and Divya Mataji may not be aware of what do we mean by, oh, why are they saying to take vanaprastha so desperately? No, what we mean by vanaprastha ashram is that one understands that he should as much as possible detach from the worldly activities. Though one may still have a home, one may still work at office, but lead a very simple life based on minimum needs, and then engage as much as possible in the service of the Lord. This is what is 21st century's vanaprastha ashram. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we should do. Yeah. Are there any comments, questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Sarika
Yeah.
Mataji.
I have one question. It's about offering.
Mhm.
So when this offering was, so when the sages asked, okay, you should pray for, you should pray Bhagwan Vishnu ji,
Mhm.
and so he did that, and the God came out of the fire.
Mhm.
So why God preferred to come out of fire? Like, no, it's just the silly. I don't know if it's a relevant question or not, but it came in my mind. Like, fire.
The Yagna Purusha comes from fire. Yeah.
Yeah, but is like, but he was representing God, right?
I didn't get it. It's not that he's representing, he's an expansion. So it's said that Yagna Kund, or this Havan Kund, whatever we see, right? That the pit is called the mouth of Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
So when you're offering anything, you're just pouring everything into the mouth of Lord Vishnu. So this is what we do, and out of it, what manifests. Yeah. So in this case, or in Ramayana also, a personified came and offered sweet rice. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's not like, okay, that okay, some sweet rice is magically coming into some one of their kitchens or no. Yeah, the Purusha is there, he is offering, and then here the priest. So this is a part of the ritual. Yeah. So sometimes visible, sometimes not visible. The Lord can, yeah, manifest himself directly,
Okay.
indirectly. Yeah. Yeah. And also, yeah, the Lord is also this, yeah, this when all the demigods are invited and all. Yeah. So all is still happening through this fire. Now I do not remember exact reference. Yeah. But there is emphasis of this fire, mm, Agni and Swaha. mm, They are representing the Lord. They are the one whom this fire sacrifice is done, and they are invited to this yajna, and everything is happening. And I not recollecting where, but they are representing the Lord. Yeah. So even Agni is a representation of the Lord. Maybe Omkareshwar Prabhu, if you have a reference of this. I remember. So that's how this Ritviks, when they are performing the yagnas for sacrifice, Agnidev is non-independent. Agnidev is not independent. He is still a representative of the Lord.
Yes, Prabhuji, you have already very nicely. Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, we also, Prabhuji, in the Daksh story, now we also had one of the expense of the Lord took a Yagya avatar. Vishnu came as a Yagya avatar.
Yeah. No,
Prabhuji, I
yeah,
have one
that's
question actually. Sorry, continue, please continue.
no, go on.
No, actually, Prabhuji, I have one another question in a different direction, not about the
Okay.
current. Actually, yeah, it belongs to the same topic. Prabhuji, we saw that the Dhruva Maharaj was a grandchild of Swambhu Manu, and Swambhu Manu was the first Manu. He was the first Manu of this Kalpa. And then we saw that great grandson of the Dhruva Maharaj or Vatsaka, this king who became king after Dhruva Maharaj, the grandson of the Vatsaka, he Chuksusa. Yeah, Chaksusa. He is also Manu in the fifth millennium, in the fifth Manvantara. And between first Manvantara and fifth Manvantara, there are 5,000 Chatra Yuga, and so many Manus have changed. And maybe so many times Kali Yuga have come, Dwapar, Treta has come, Ramayana has happened, Mahabharata has happened. So, Prabhuji, is it really correct that this dynasty was still continuing parallelly during all the yugas? And
yeah, it could be. And the Shakshusha Manu, when his tenure came, so he was still there, or it could be that he was the same person, but yeah, at that time he again took a birth. It could be one of these two. As a reference, we are saying, okay, it is the same person. Yeah. It could be that he, yeah, just like, yeah, I am now in this life, Subhash, but after 4-5 lifetimes, right, when someone has to say about me, they can refer me as Subhash of that. Yeah, you're getting the point?
No, sorry, Prabhuji, I could not understand properly still.
So it is same person. Yeah, we are changing dresses. Okay,
yes.
Let me say this example. So it is Omkareshwar Prabhu who is in the red suit today. Yeah,
yes.
But after 5 days, it is still the same Omkareshwar Prabhu, but he is in his black suit.
Yes.
So it is same Omkareshwar Prabhu, but in a different body. So as a reference, we can still refer you, right?
So Prabhu, that means should we understand like it was still the first millennium, but
Yes.
Chaksusa was born, but later on he come as a
later.
Chaksusa later on in fifth millennium.
I think that's what I'm saying. That is a possibility because of such a long gap, but
yes.
I don't know.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, this is already a very good interpretation or understanding.
Yeah, just understanding. So we have to kind of check, maybe asking someone else again, reassuring or gather more detail.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining, and I would love to hear next week's maybe from Swapna Mataji or Parth Prabhu. Hope it's not boring for you guys, and if there's something interesting that I can add, or you have any questions you can add, or yeah, let's do that. Of course, in 1 hour, there's a lot of talking from my side. Sorry for that. Less interactive, but yeah, just to kind of respect the time that we have. Initial days was like 45 minutes. Yeah, it was very difficult to convince Omkareshwar Prabhu. Oh, Prabhuji, only 45 minutes, please come. And it never happened. Later they gave up, and now I'm able to freely give 1.5 hours. But yeah, still, I mean, we could continue forever, but yeah, just to keep it as small as possible, as short as possible, squeezing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay, then Vanchakalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, ताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। हरि 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 बोल। Hare Krishna. I hope I can see all of you today afternoon, and we'll enjoy a very nice subject. Yeah, so looking forward to see you all soon. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhuji. Looking forward.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.